Now we are going to see the process of digestion. We know that the food that we eat gives us energy, but this food gives us energy only after the completion of the digestion process. So what is this digestion? Digestion is the process in which the food that we eat is broken down into simple and soluble substances and it is absorbed by the body. So in the process of digestion, the food that we eat is broken down into simple and soluble substances and energy is produced from that food. So now I will be explaining you the process of digestion. When the food is eaten up or when we take the food into our mouth with the help of our teeth, what happens? And the saliva that is present in our mouth, the food is chewed. It is made into small pieces and this small pieces or the paste of the food goes to our stomach through the food pipe. From the mouth, the food is taken to the stomach through this food pipe. The food pipe is also known as esophagus. What is the food pipe also known as? Food pipe is also known as esophagus. So the food which is made into small pieces with the help of the saliva in the mouth is taken to the stomach through this food pipe. In the stomach already there are some digestive juices present. The food is again mixed there with the digestive juices. It is churned and mixed into smaller pieces. Again it is turned into simple and soluble form and then the stomach sends all that food to the small intestine. In the small intestine also there are some digestive juices present and in the small intestine the food again mixes up with the digestive juices and the process of digestion gets completed here in the small intestine. This small intestine is a long coiled tube. The process of digestion gets completed in the small intestine. Then this small intestine keeps the required food or to convert the food into energy. The digested food is kept in the small intestine and the remaining food, that is the food which is not digested, is sent to the large intestine. In large intestine what happens? The large intestine, it absorbs the water from the undigested food and then the undigested semi-solid food is sent to the anus so that the anus can throw out the undigested food in the form of stools or feces. So this was the process of digestion. From the mouth the food is chewed, made into small pieces, then through the food pipe it comes to the stomach. In the stomach it mixes with the digestive juices and it is formed into simple and soluble substance and then it goes to the small intestine. In the small intestine it again mixes up with some digestive juices and the process of digestion gets completed here. That is, the food which is digested is taken aside and the undigested food is sent to the large intestine. In the large intestine the water is absorbed and the semi-solid undigested food is sent to the anus so that the anus can throw out the undigested food. So this was the process of digestion. Next point is about the junk food. All of you are very well known to the point junk food. Yes, French fries, chips, cakes, pizzas, burgers, pastries, all these are called as junk food. Why are they called junk food? Yes, these food items contain a lot of fats and lot of sugar which is not good for our health, and so this junk food is also known as unhealthy food. Eating too much of junk food can cause many stomach problems. So we should not have these junk foods on regular basis. Having junk foods sometimes is okay, but if we are consuming or if we are eating junk food on a regular basis, too much of fat and too much of sugar is going in our body, and that is not good for our health. So eating of junk food on a regular basis is not a sign of being healthy. Okay, so it is good or it is right to avoid eating junk food on a regular basis. The next point is good eating habits. So what habits should we follow so that we can have a healthy and a strong body? There are some habits that we have to follow when we eat the food. And what are those habits? Yes, when we are having food, when we are eating food, we should take care that wherever we sit to have our food, that place should be clean. The environment should be pleasant. The second good eating habit is we should have food at regular intervals. It means we should have food in our regular time. We should not take a large gap between our two foods. We should have our food regularly and in time. The next habit is we should chew the food before swallowing it. So it is said that we should chew the food that is in our mouth for at least 32 times. So chewing of food is very necessary before swallowing it, before putting it into our stomach. It is very necessary that we chew the food properly. If we don't chew the food, then it will go in big substance into our stomach, and then we will have stomach problems. So the next habit for good eating style is we should have a lot of green vegetables and fruits in our diet. So our food or our diet should include leafy vegetables and fruits as well. Also, we should have a balanced diet. We have learned earlier what is a balanced diet. The diet which has all the nutrients, roughage and water in proper quantity or in required quantity is called a balanced diet. So we should take care that we always have a balanced diet. Also, one more thing is that we should have fresh and healthy food. We should not eat stale food or the food that has been prepared one day earlier or 2 days earlier. We should always have a healthy and fresh food. And the most important is water. We should drink at least 8 to 10 glasses of water. This is the most important good eating habit, that we should have enough of water, a good quantity of water in our daily routine. Also, we should avoid overeating. What is overeating? If some dish is very delicious, what we do? We eat it in a greater quantity, which is not good for our health. So, whatever may be the dish, it is good or bad, we should eat it in proper quantity or required quantity only. We should not eat more quantity of that food. So, this was the last good eating habit, that is we should not overeat, but we should eat the food in proper quantity. Next point is about cooking food. In everybody's house, the food is cooked, but there are some vegetables which can also be eaten raw, like cucumbers, then carrots, radish. They can be eaten raw as well. But there are some vegetables or food items which need to be cooked. And cooking of food is done in various types, like boiling, frying, then roasting is done, also baking and steaming is also done. So there are various styles in which cooking of food is done. Cooking of food makes the food soft and easy to digest. Also, when the food is cooked, some spices are added to it, and cooking makes the food very tasty. And that is why cooking of food is done in each and every home, so that the food can be digested easily and the food becomes soft. So we should always cook the food which requires cooking. Also, cooking kills the germs which are present in that food. So it is very necessary that we cook the food before eating it. The next point or the last point of this topic is food preservation. Now what is this food preservation? The process in which food is kept safe for a longer period. So in this food preservation process, what is done? The food is kept in such a pattern that the food remains in a good condition or the food does not get spoiled for a long period. This process is called as food preservation. So there are some types, or we can see there are some ways by which the food is preserved. Here 4 ways are given with the help of which the food can be preserved or the food can be kept safe for a longer time. The first process or the first way is by refrigeration. It means that food is kept in the refrigerator, that is the fridge, or it is kept in the deep freezer so that microbes don't work on the food and the food remains fresh for longer period. The food items like curd is kept in the refrigerator, or we can say milk is kept in the refrigerator. Ice creams are kept in deep freezer so that they remain fresh or no microbes start working on that food items and that food item remain in a good condition for longer period. So refrigeration is done. The second process is by bottling and canning. It means that the food is kept in airtight bottles and cans to protect them from the microbes. The food items are kept in bottles and the lids of their bottles are very tight. They are so tight that even the air can't go into these bottles and cans. And by this way, the developing of microbes on that food is restricted, and so the food kept in airtight bottles and cans remains in a good condition for longer period. The third process is drying. In summer seasons, we can see that our mothers, what do? They dry all the pulses, cereals, all types of grains in the summer, and then they keep it in the jars or big bottles. So the process of drying is done so that the microbes, whether they are present on that cereals, pulses or grains, they die because of the hot sun, and then they keep all those cereals in a safe place. The last process or the last way of food preservation is pickling and gelling. What is done in this process? So some preservatives like salt, oil or sugar are used in preserving or keeping the food items safe for a longer periods. So in pickles, what is done? Lot of salt and lot of oil is used. The oil, salt and sugar, it works like preservatives. They don't allow the microbes to enter into the food, and in this manner pickling and gelling is done. In pickles, lot of oil and salt is used, whereas in preparing jellies, lot of sugar is used, and this keeps the food items safer for a longer period. So this was about digestion and the food preservation methods. So the assignment for today is that you have to write in detail about the food preservation processes. You have to describe all these 4 methods in detail about refrigeration, about bottling and canning, drying and pickling and gelling. You can tell the uses or the preservatives that are used in these processes, and you can write it in your own words.